This week,
how Millard is responding to Omaha's emergency mask mandate.
The track team prepares for their season with winter conditioning.
A student's blanket making endeavors.
And the celebration of I Love Public Schools Day. All here on the MWHS Wildcat News.
Welcome back, Wildcats. I'm Riley Kremlish.
And I'm Evan Vaslow. Ever since the city of Omaha issued an emergency mask mandate last Wednesday, things have been looking a bit different, especially in schools. Staff reporters Quinn Burton and Sophia Condello have more details about how Millard West has responded.
On January 12, 2022, the city's health director implemented a mask mandate in the Omaha metro area to settle the current uprise of COVID-19 cases. Many schools in the area weren't surprised by this, as it's something everyone's been expecting.
I think the kids here at West have adapted very well. I've had little to no problems with students wearing masks, so I feel like we've just been business as usual in class. It is one more thing to have to think about, but I think everybody's doing their part, so it hasn't been that big of a deal for me in class.
Because the Omicron surge has made it increasingly difficult to keep school staff, Millard will implement remote learning on 3 dates over the course of the next few weeks. This not only improves staff shortages, but also allows faculty members to bounce back from the virus.
We hope that our teachers can provide independent work for students to do at home with remote learning, but we also hope this gives a chance for students that are behind due to being isolated and not being able to be in class, that they would get a chance to get caught up with their peers.
As students begin to adapt to these circumstances, many are seeing both the positive and negative outcomes that follow wearing masks and learning outside of school.
I didn't really see it coming. I thought we were gonna finish up the year without having to go remote and stuff, but I'm not too mad about it.
As the uncertainty that follows the COVID-19 pandemic continues, make sure to stay safe and mask up, Wildcats. This has been Sophia Condello and Quinn Burton for the MWHS Wildcat News.
Even though there won't be school next Friday, the Hoops for Hope basketball game is still on as scheduled. Both the girls and boys varsity basketball teams will be traveling to Millard South and taking on the Patriots to raise money and awareness for the fight against cancer.
On Tuesday, the wrestling team celebrated senior night. Staff reporters Hallie Opat and Carly Bailey were there and have more details.
On Tuesday, the Millard West boys wrestling team took on Elkhorn in a home duel. West was missing several members of their usual starting lineup, giving several JV wrestlers the opportunity to step up to varsity.
I feel like I performed not my best, but better than I've done from coming back from being sick. I feel the team performed really good, some things we can work on. I think the team needs to work on finishing shots, fighting off our back, and also getting up from bottom. But other than that, we're getting better.
Filling in for senior team captain Charlie Nozel at the 195 weight class, freshman Jack Murphy stepped up and got a pin in his first varsity match. The team went into the duel strong, only subbing wrestlers in the 170, 182, and 195 weight classes. And the final match of the duel, the team needed a pin to win.
Well, it was really important because if he got pinned, it would have been a tie, and then I'm not sure if we would have won based off of the extensive points. So we needed him to just not get pinned. But then he came out and he got a pin, so it was pretty sweet because he got a sweet throw. And I think it was his first varsity match ever, so it was pretty awesome to see. And I was proud of him. We all were standing and cheering and yelling, and he stood up and started clapping. He's been practicing with the varsity guys all years. Definitely helped him get better.
This season, West has a young team, but even with the senior team captain out, the younger guys on the team were able to step up and pull together a total of 45 team points to win the duel.
We performed pretty well. We had 4 kids out of the lineup that are varsity kids, and so had some young kids step in and battle for us. We're super young. We only have 1 senior on the team. We had 3 juniors in the lineup last night, no seniors, so we're really young, and the young guys are doing a great job. They're competing at a high level. We need to be more physical. We need to have more heart when we're on our backs, to get off our back. We just need to be tougher.
The final score was 45-33 Millard West. The Wildcats will be back on the mat at home next Friday. For the MWHS Wildcat News, this has been Hallie Opat and Carly Bailey.
Though winter sports are still in full swing, spring sports have already started preseason conditioning, which will play a crucial role come competition season. Staff reporters Christian Najikaitis and Alex Van Gerpen spoke with the track team to learn how they're preparing for their season.
Halfway through the winter sports season, the track athletes are already conditioning. Last season, the girls finished in first for their district and had multiple state medalists. On the other hand, the boys finished runner-up in the A4 district and had a handful of state medalists.
The off-season is a huge part of how successful you can be during the season. If you go in completely out of shape, the season's short enough that it's really hard to get in shape. By the time you get in shape, the season's already over. So going into the season in shape and conditioned already, it's going to be a huge factor for how successful you can be.
As hard as conditioning may seem, it's just a stepping stone for how the season may lay out. Without practicing before the season begins, the runner's body will not have enough strength or skills to complete well in the regular season.
Like being consistent with your running will make you have better endurance and become a better runner.
Practice begins with a short warm-up consisting of lunges, high knees, different variations of skips, and much more to stretch out all parts of the body. These drills rev up their cardiovascular system, which causes blood flow to their muscles.
After the brief warm-up, the runners split into two groups, distance and sprinters. The distant runners do a quick but challenging core routine, which is very important as it will take some strain away from the hips and lower back. And the sprinters do hurdle stretches to open up their hips, which is one of the main muscle groups for running. So with stronger muscles, the runners are able to explode in more powerful fashion.
It will just get me in shape before everyone else and get me prepared for the season. The hurdle stretches just help getting stretched out and hip mobility.
After all stretching is concluded, the runners begin their workout. The distance group has a wide range of distances they will run. For the more experienced runners, it will be around 6 to 10 miles, and for the newer members, they'll go on a shorter run of about 4 miles. Actively running, the runner's endurance will improve, and if they practice on a consistent basis, they will be able to run faster and for longer periods of time.
Right now, nothing really super specific, just kind of general getting aerobic conditioning up and just getting a base under them. So once we get harder workouts, that they can handle those and recover from them a little bit better.
The sprinters do a 10-yard increment dash. They begin their workout at just about 70% effort since this is their first few practices. The runners repeat the 10-yard run numerous times, and after completing the short workout, they make sure to stretch afterward.
The runners hope for success throughout the 2022 season. This has been Christian Najikaitis and Alex Van Gerpen for the MWHS Wildcat News.
Host's Winter Blood Drive will take place 2 weeks from today on February 4th. There's still time to sign up with the link in the daily announcements.
With the cold weather, many turn to blankets for warmth. For senior Elena Anderson, blankets are more than just a means to stay warm. She volunteers with Project Linus, making blankets for those in need. News director Caitlin Reynolds and online editor-in-chief Caden Roth have the story.
When sick, people depend on medical treatment and the comfort of a warm blanket to bring them back to good health. Senior Elena Anderson has made the latter a reality for those struggling with ailments by turning her passion for building blankets into a means of helping. Since the age of 7, Anderson has donated her time to Project Linus, a charitable organization that turns fabric into blankets and donates them to local hospitals for sick children.
So I heard about Project Linus through my aunt, and she was volunteering there, so I decided to start too because I enjoyed making blankets with her and how it relates to my family.
The inspiration for this volunteer activity stemmed deeper than just a want to help the community, a family tradition that Anderson chose to carry on through another generation.
My mother-in-law, Elena's grandma, always made quilts for the family, the children in the family, and I just always thought it'd be fun to learn how to quilt, and then I always wanted to volunteer once I retired, so I was able to tie the two together. And Elena just got nominated with me.
The two frequently spend time together making the blankets and have used this opportunity to bond with one another.
She had a sewing machine given to her, and then Project Linus will give you material, and then you have to create your own quilt for Project Linus. And so we've gone shopping and picked different patterns out and done things together. But she's more creative than I am now.
Project Linus works to provide love, a sense of community, warmth, and comfort to children who are seriously ill. Anderson has brought others to fulfill this mission with her throughout her time volunteering with the nonprofit.
My favorite part is when I get to do it with other people, so whether that's my aunt or I used to get friends involved a lot, and just being able to bring that back to other people and kind of spread the message of giving back to the community.
Through her position as Senior Class Board Vice President, Anderson has been able to introduce her graduating class to Project Linus and donate an additional 22 blankets on top of the hundreds she has created in her blanketeering career.
Well, a lot of things were shut down because of COVID, especially this semester, so it was something that we could do at the school without having to go out in the community since they wouldn't usually take big groups like senior class board, so it's just something that we could do to give back this season.
Her passion for helping others is apparent in her willingness to donate her time and dedication to creating comfort for those struggling with health conditions.
It's good to give back to the community, and since it's something I love doing so much, I have so many blankets, so I think it's good to give them to some kids in need that really could use them.
Together, Anderson and Young have tied together a strong connection, ending each blanket they create by stitching on the final Project Linus label. This has been Caden Roth
And Caitlin Reynolds
with the MWHS Wildcat News.
Wednesday marked the annual celebration of I Love Public Schools Day.
To commemorate the event, social media manager Brooke Sliva talked with some staff to learn why they love public schools.
Well, first off, when it comes to this day in Nebraska that we dedicate to public schools, I think it's a very important day for our community to recognize that all citizens, regardless of your background or your economic status, you all have an opportunity for a tuition-free, tax-supported public school system.
I love public schools because it gives students lots of different opportunities inside the building with different classes, different activities, different clubs, and so there seems to be a place for all students somewhere in the building.
I love public schools because we educate every single child.
I love public schools because, well, I'm a product of public schools, and I think there are so many opportunities for students to grow and excel that I couldn't think of being anywhere else but in a public school.
I love public schools because I've basically grown up in them my whole life. My dad was a high school principal and athletic director of a small little school in Iowa. We lived right across the street, literally probably closer than what I'm from, like where I'm standing now to the library here. So I basically, again, grew up there, going to all the events and everything like that.
I love public schools because, I mean, we all know that education is really important, but one of the things that we can get out of public schools is a lot of the opportunities that our students are able to have.
Can't say enough how much I appreciate, especially in these difficult times, the great teachers and staff we have here at Millard West High School.
That's all we have for you this week. Be sure to visit our website and social media pages for more daily content. Until next time, this has been Riley Kramlish
and Evan Vaslow with the MWHS Wildcat News.